What's up, guys and gals? It's your host with the most, Griever, as always, bringing you guys the latest piece of live-action One Piece. The final piece, in fact. Episode 8, finally getting to it, the worst in the East. Now, there is a lot to talk about this episode, but they redeemed Garp. I still think that Garp has done better in the manga. That being said, most characters, other than Usopp, 100% Usopp is far more likable and a better character here in the live action. That's something that is just, yeah. But overall, Garp has redeemed himself back on my good list because the actor has been doing a phenomenal job, but not being the Garp that we know and love. The reason Garp is top 5. The reason Garp is in the top 5. And I know so many power skills will go, what do you mean? You mean favorite characters? Do you mean he's actually the strongest and stuff? Take that what you will. I'll let you guys think what I mean by top 5. But anyways, fact of the matter is that Garp redeems himself here. It's the end of the Arlong Park arc. There are some problems with the end of this. There are some issues. But overall, and the final scene and stuff, just, they do a great way. This is a good season, or because it's not a series finale, because I'm pretty sure season 2 is already confirmed. This is a great season 1 conclusion. I would argue 100%. We have the Nami stuff with their backstory a little bit there. We have Arlong and them, and once again, Arlong doubling down on the idea of the racism and stuff, which once again, you can hate that or love it. I think it makes Arlong feel a little more three-dimensional in this series. It sort of works since we know what's coming, and most people watching live action One Piece are going to already be fans, so it's fine. We are missing Hachi. Hachi missing does suck because we're missing out on a few things. Number one, and I talked about this last episode, we don't get to see Zoro versus Arlong. We don't get to see Zoro literally kill almost 90% of the fishmen that are with Arlong, with all his wounds from Mihawk. So we're taking away, we've given Zoro some due, and the live action has gone out of its way to say Zoro is the first mate. You know, so many people be like, who don't want that, who think Sanji's better, or they don't want that to be the case, that Zoro's the first mate or something like that. For some reason, they're in denial. They're still going to be in denial and say, well, the live action isn't fucking canon and stuff, right? So they'll do what they want. But either way, they have given Zoro his due, but I guess they just didn't showcase some stellar moments. That was one of the big moments when Arlong, it's like, I'll give you 5 minutes, you know, you half-baked cook, but that's all I can hold this guy off for. Because it's implied that Zoro at full strength could have beat Arlong. And I see no reason why he couldn't have done so. So, at the time. So, and him being injured and stuff like that. Like, we see the injuries affecting him. I'm guessing that they sort of do the idea, because we still have Chu versus Usopp in the same manner. But we decide to go with Sanji and Zoro fighting together to beat up all the underlings. The rest of the crew. Usopp beats Chu. Sanji and Zoro working together beat up everybody else in sort of a Legolas Gimli sort of dynamic, and then Luffy obviously goes to beat up Arlong by himself sort of idea. Well, Nami's there with him and stuff, and it works pretty well. I'm not the biggest fan of how the fight went down. I think the Arlong versus Luffy fight was the weakest part of the episode, in all honesty. Missing Hachi sucked, but yeah, so it went down. And certain things, it still ended the same with the battle axe and stuff, you know. And it's fine, but it's not. I think they should have focused more on that fight. They really should have doubled down on the fact that Luffy is gonna, yeah, Arlong's strong, but Luffy's just gonna keep getting back up and stuff like that, because they didn't really fight too much. You know what I mean? It was more the gimmicks and stuff. So, and a lot more dialogue driven with a couple. It's like they would talk and then one punch and then a counter. And that'd be it, you know what I mean? So, I think the fight could have been handled better. Less dialogue, more punching each other, but it is what it is. After that, of course, we get the celebration at Kokoyashi Village. We see, we get Nami getting the tangerine, tattoo and stuff like that. It all works out incredibly well. Then we get the Garp redemption. The Garp redemption is fantastic because that Zeph and Garp having a conversation about old versus new generations, not just about pirates, but about Marines as well, it's summed up perfectly here because he even acknowledges, perhaps the old chef was right. It's something I didn't know we needed, but I loved it in episode 7, and here it's coming full circle that Garp actually never, so Garp was sort of acting out of character, and I think they could have still, like, tweaked it down a little bit. I still disagree with some of the ways they handled him, but the fact that he comes into this, beats the shit out of Luffy because Garp is that guy. Luffy's got no chance. East Blue Luffy has no chance. Hell, Gear 5 Luffy is fully required to take down Garp, let's be real. But the fact of the matter is that Garp shows up here, beats him up, and basically when he just refuses to give up, and he's just like, and then he laughs like Roger laughed and stuff, and he's remembering how Roger laughed, and Zeph told him himself, that kid reminds me of Roger and stuff. And it's like, yeah, because people have made that comparison all the time. The fact that they do that in universe, and it's not Rayleigh who's first noticed of the old Garp, but it's Zeph, and then it's Garp, and then Garp says, basically at the end of the day, he's like, alright, we're done, fine boy, have it your way, sort of idea. And he's like, wait, this was all a test? You know, because they all move out, and Kobe and Helmeppo refuse to attack. It's like, the Arlong pirates did all this. The Straw Hats are heroes. We don't abide by this. And Garp's just like, I'm giving you no quarter. You decide to go against my orders. And we get to that scene later. But what a beautiful scene. And it's so close to Lion King music. And you guys know how I feel about the Lion King. Greatest animated picture of all time. Fight me. I'm going to win that fight. But either way, fact of the matter is that it's got that OST for this live action has been great. But that, it had that, certain notes are exactly the same notes, similar music score right there when he's talking to Luffy, Garp at the end, and he puts his hand on his shoulder and stuff and says, it wasn't just about, he's like, could you got it a little easier? Where's the fun in that, boy? You know, it's like, you're stubborn like me, like your grandfather. He goes, so you were testing me, right? Like, I needed to make sure you knew exactly what you were in for before I let you go on this path. Because I don't want you, like, you gotta read between the lines a little bit, but I like the idea that Garp's basically saying, I tried to make you a Marine, like in the manga. You wouldn't listen, because you're a stubborn mule like I am. I don't want you to be a pirate. But if your heart is set on this course, and you proved to me that heart and soul, you're never gonna change, then unfortunately, I have to accept it. I don't like it, but I accept it that you're your own man now, and I'm not going to be there to try to help you out of a jam or anything anymore, you know? So I like that actually would sort of go in line with the current Garp character, knowing what we know later on in the story and stuff. It makes sense that he would have done something similar in the manga. So he still acted out of character in like episodes 4 through 6 a little bit, but here he definitely is acting like that is something Garp would absolutely have done. He would have gone full throttle against Luffy, because we sort of see that later on in the story. He does go full throttle. He's not like, just because you're my grandson doesn't mean I'm not going to throw cannonballs at your ass and try to stop you. You're a pirate. But the fact that he wanted to make sure that if he was going to make bad life decisions, that he was 100% committed behind it, okay, you know, and it does relieve Garp a little bit of that bad characterization, because the actor is one of the best cast actors in this whole series. So I'm really glad that they do that. And then, of course, they leave. And Kobe and Helmeppo are willing to accept their punishment, but this is where Garp basically says being a Marine isn't about following orders, it's about following your code, and talks about the different codes of justice, which we know is a heavy thing in the Marines because of the admirals and all the people. They have their different sense of justice, and the Marines pretty much allow you, as long as you're there to capture pirates and generally follow orders. Basically, the higher ranked you are, they give you free will to execute your own version of justice, whether it's flattening a town or saving the town. As long as it gets the results that at the end results they require, you're still good and stuff. And this is where Garp formally says, I'm gonna train you myself, and that kind of idea. You're not punished, you did the right thing by your own code, and that's what makes it from a good Marine. That is what makes a Marine sort of idea in Garp's opinion. it works out just fine, and then we get all the notices that Luffy finally has a bounty. We do get a really nice moment with Luffy and Kobe before they leave the village and stuff, Kokashi Village. It's a really nice moment. I like that they've included Kobe in all these arcs a lot more, so that we see Kobe and Luffy interacting a lot more. It solidifies their friendship so much more that he's not just this one-time savior. He's a friend who's always there, and he knows Luffy from these different incidents. He knows that Luffy's not a bad guy, that Luffy might be an outlaw and a criminal, but he's never going to do bad things. He's always going to do the great thing, the heroic thing. Basically, he's a Marine, he's a vigilante, he's a Batman. He's not, that kind of idea. So, he's working outside of the law, but his sense of justice is aligning with Kobe's to a T, and Kobe sees that and respects that. So, that's a nice change as well from the live action, or from the manga. And then in the end, we see all the, Luffy gets his bounty. We see all the different people react. We see Makino, Shanks' wife, Makino there, reacting. We see, Zeph reacting. We see, Buggy and Alvida meet up and stuff like that. That's pretty cool. So we do see quite a few people reacting. We even see at the very end, spoilers, Smoker. Smoker is showcased there with the double cigar. That's pretty cool. That was a pretty cool little cameo. We finally get the unveiling. Of course, we get the foot on the bucket sort of idea, or the barrel and stuff with the straw hats and all that stuff. We see Nami with the tangerine tree. We see so many things. We see a lot of great scenes, in my opinion. The unfurling of the sail. Here's their Jolly Roger. They're gonna go forth. Luffy's sitting on the Going Merry's head. Woo! That kind of stuff. And it's all good. It's all really nice. Nicely paced. They're gonna go to the Grand Line, all this craziness. We of course see Mihawk and Shanks, and that's pretty cool because Mihawk and Shanks interaction. So many people were loving it because I did get spoiled that they were gonna show that scene, though I'd never seen the scene until this episode, and it was fantastic. It was fantastic when he was like, I'm not interested in fighting half the man, and stuff like that. So very acting exactly like Shanks and Mihawk, because Shanks like, wait, I could still take you with one arm tied behind my back. It's like, yeah, you can take him seriously that Shanks would still fight Mihawk. However, he made a hungover joke about it. It's like, yeah, I can take you with one arm tied behind. Oh wait, I don't have an arm. Just the humor there, and then he tells, it's the scene we saw it. This is an actual scene in the definitely in the anime. I think it's also in the manga though, but it's definitely in the anime and stuff. And he's like, "Hey, I'm hungover. I'm not ready for a fight." And he's like, "I didn't come for a fight. Here's the poster of Luffy." And he's like, "Luffy, we got a party again, boys." And it's like, "I thought you were hungover." Shanks, "Oh, stop being such a stick in the mud, Hawkeyes. Come, have a drink with us and stuff." It's like, "No, I don't want to." "Come on, Mihawk. We're having a drink, buddy." And the fact is, in this one, I sort of like this interaction almost a little more, where it's just like, "Come on, Mihawk, drink with us, buddy, come on." And he's like, "Oh, one drink couldn't hurt." Drink sounds pretty good, honestly. So it's just like, yeah, he's willing to drink with the boys. Once again, we get a shot. Yasop, well cast. Lucky Roo, fantastic. I know some people are doing that race war shit. I don't care. When it works for me. In all honesty, there's no reason Lucky Roo can't be a fat black dude instead of a fat white dude. That never bothered me. It would bother me actually more if they did it reverse. Like if Yasop was white. That'd be weird. But Lucky Roo, it's like Nick Fury in the Marvel thing. Sam Jackson doing a phenomenal performance of Nick Fury. All I'm missing the fact that he doesn't have a British accent. Because my Nick Fury sort of had a British accent because he was sort of, I always picture him as, yeah, he's supposed to be working for S.H.I.E.L.D., but S.H.I.E.L.D's not it's not really just America, it's international, and he's sort of like a James Bond, you know what I mean? So my headcanon was always a British accent. But either way, outside of that, yeah, so certain times it bothers, when it doesn't fit the lore, when it's specific to the lore and it's going against that just for diversity or progressiveness or what have you, then I have a problem with it. But when it realistically, it's just like Nojiko. it actually makes a little bit more sense that she's blue-haired and different skin and all that. That Nami and her are so contrasted. And if I recall correctly, in the original anime, Nojiko definitely had much, like, darker... she was still white, but I guess, but she had much darker skin. It was much darker than Nami's and stuff, right? From the animation, from a coloring thing. So, in all honesty, I think they did better on that by making her blue-haired and stuff. Because, once again, they're not actual sisters, and they're both adopted and stuff. So, like, yeah, this is giving opportunities to so many different actors. So you're not, like, going down the list, you know, while Zoro has to be, you know, Japanese and stuff. You know what I mean? It just works. And I see actually no problem with that, but I saw so many people. The only reason I bring it up now is because it's the end episode, but so many people complain about Lucky Roo when he looks great. I don't get the problem. It doesn't go against the lore. It's not like Lucky Roo is, I don't know, like king of Whitey McWhite Kingdom or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't, you know, so changing him up doesn't make sense. Or being mad at that. He looks like Lucky Roo. I don't know if that's a compliment or an insult, but he looks good. In fact, the only one on Shanks' crew that I'm pissed at, Ben Beckman. That ain't it. First off, supposed to have black hair in the flashback. Didn't. Already was old. Second, he's too fat. He's too fat. Ben Beckman's supposed to be like 6'6" and skinny and built. In fact, why didn't they just put a wig on Jason Statham? That would have worked. That would have worked 100%. Why not just do that? Because this dude looks chubby, looks way too old, doesn't look cool enough, the wig is obvious. It's just, yeah, if anything, Ben Beckman is the one recast that I really want. Plus, where's my Django? Where's my Django? I didn't get Django, and I didn't get Hachi. Those are two things I also didn't like. But yeah, so overall, this episode, I'm going to give this an 8. An 8. It's missing a little too much from our long park arc for me, so I got to give it a couple of minus points. But it did redeem Garp. Like, I'd give it probably a 7 if they hadn't redeemed Garp. But since they did redeem Garp, they just gave him a different avenue of being a grandfather. I'm going to give them a +1 for fooling me and doing that. So, an 8 out of 10. Now, overall, now we've talked about the episode enough. Overall, what to rate live action One Piece? I'm going to give it, I mean, I'm sure if I did a mean average of all my averages, I'm not sure what it would come out to overall, because it'd be a score out of 80. You know what? I'm going to give it 7.5. Yeah, I'm going to do that 0.5 bullshit. I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. And even maybe an 8. Maybe an 8. I think, you know what? Yeah, fuck the 0.5 bullshit. I'm going to give it an 8. It's better than a 7. 8's a little strong, but I don't like the 0.5 shit. I think that's splitting hairs, honestly. I've never liked doing 0.5s, even though I do them. I don't like them. So, like, give a solid number. You know? It's even worse when people do that whole, they do it by the quarter. Like, alright, dude, then make your scale out of 40. Don't make your scale out of 5 or 10. If you're going to go 2.25 out of 5 stars, fuck off. Right? Just fuck off. So, at the end of the day, yeah, I think I'll give it an 8. That's the highest I'll go, though. That's the highest. It's no better than that. But it's solid. And I will be looking forward to, that's the key thing. Not will I watch Season 2. Am I looking forward to Season 2? I think that's what gives a series from, like, you know, just a regular, like, okay, this was a 5, it's alright, like, and if I don't catch the next season, whatever, you know, and when shows fall off and that kind of idea. But here, I actually am looking forward to watching Season 2. I want to see what they'll do. I want to see if they'll improve. I believe that they're definitely going to take, not my reviews, I'm just a poor Canadian making videos for fun, but when they listen to the big time reviews and analysis and the criticisms and the praise for the good and the bad and the ugly, I think there's potential, since they did so well on this. They really did, because it's such a huge undertaking, right? It's so huge. It's like when Peter Jackson said he's going to do Lord of the Rings. I mean, what a nightmare. If you watch or listen to any of the interviews, you know, like him trying to get that project off the ground, he was laughed out of so many areas, because it's like it was something that wasn't considered adaptable to screen. It just was not a feasible thing to do and do well. And he proved us all wrong. So I think that this can be said in the similar vein. It's clearly not as good or something like that, so maybe the Lord of the Rings comparison. I just mean, what a huge undertaking to try to make live action One Piece. I don't think it really gets any better. I don't think, yeah, you could change a few things, maybe add one other episode so you could have some stuff that fans wanted that is missing and stuff, but overall, as an adaptation, realistically, giving it less than a 7 is not giving it its fair due, in my opinion. Giving it any less than a 7, like if you go to 6, I want to hear a good argument. If you go to 5, I think you're just butthurt. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, yeah, because this was solid. This was honestly solid, and at some points was great. It was honestly great. Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to Season 2. I don't know how many people are going to say that when they finish the series and stuff like that, when they finish it, all 8 episodes. How many people are going to be like, it was okay, but, you know, I don't care if they make more or something. I kind of do. I'm sort of curious where they're going to go. I'm curious who they're going to cast, how much more interactions, how much more freedom they're going to do. You know, because they did a lot more with certain characters here. With Zoro, with Nami, Usopp's a lot more fun. Sanji has never looked better. Like, goddamn, man, works out. So, yeah, just there's a lot to love here. There's a lot to love as a One Piece fan. So, yeah, this sort of turned into an episode 8, but I wasn't going to make a 9th video anyway. So, episode 8, full series review stuff. So, it's going to be a little longer. But what do you guys think? Let me know down in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe as always. And we will see you guys back here for Season 2 of live action Piece of One Piece. And definitely you guys will see me back for more One Piece content regardless outside of the live action itself as well. So thanks guys so much for watching though. We'll see you guys back next time. Sayonara.